Oh, I'll do that later.
Later? When later?
Later. You're not my mother.
It's Tom. Hi, friends. It's Tom. Hey, have you ever procrastinated? Most of us have procrastinated at one point or another. Some of us, though, have made it a lifestyle. And a few of us may have made it a chronic addiction. So today we'll talk about what procrastination is, a few of its causes, and a few ways to overcome procrastination. And I've got some suggestions from my Facebook wall, so stay tuned. Before we get too far, let's define what procrastination actually is. Let's, for the sake of our purpose, call procrastination an active avoidance of something that should be done while you're busy doing something totally unrelated. And laziness, let's call that the passive and apathetic avoidance of doing something you should be doing without really accomplishing anything. But today, we're only talking about procrastination. Laziness is a really important topic, but we'll do that for a video at a later date, some other time later. So why do people procrastinate? Well, there are some common reasons. The first would be perfectionism, wanting to get something absolutely perfect instead of really good or good enough. In fact, I know many job seekers, those between jobs, who tweak their resume every single day, tweaking, editing, changing it back. And they're too afraid to actually submit their resume until they feel it's perfect.
I don't get it. I've been working on my resume for months now, and I still haven't gotten an offer.
Have you submitted it anywhere?
You're not my mother!
Being overwhelmed is another reason. This happens when a particular task or project seems too big or too big in scope. Maybe it's too complex. Like that time you wanted to have a space colony on the moon. The sheer immensity of your vision and local zoning ordinances caused you to short circuit because you don't know how to start and you wound up doing nothing, and you doomed humanity to a dying planet forever. Thanks a lot. Motivation is another reason for procrastination, a lack of motivation. If you're not committed to the task or project at hand, then you'll likely find something, anything, to avoid doing what you should. Another reason is the fear of the outcome. This is probably the one ring that rules them all. With perfectionism, you fear merely doing your best and it's still not going to be good enough. When you're overwhelmed, you fear that you're not up to the task. And when you lack motivation, you fear having to do something you really don't want to do. Fear. It comes down to fear. And there's only one way to combat that. With courage. Yes, courage. And what do I mean by courage? What does courage even mean? Well, we received a good definition of courage way back in 1939. What makes a king out of a slave? Courage. What makes a flag on the mast to wave? Courage. What makes an elephant charge his tusk in the misty mist or the dusky dusk? What makes a muskrat guard his musk? Courage. What makes the Sphinx the seventh wonder? Courage. What makes the dawn roll in like thunder? Courage. What puts the hot in Hottentot, and what puts the ape in apricot? What do they got that I haven't got? Courage? You can say that again. I know what some of you are thinking. Don't be afraid. By being brave instead. That's brilliant. So, how can you be brave in this case? Here are a few ideas. Make it your only option. You know, when I was young, my dad made my brother, sister, and I do chores. And if we didn't do our chores, he would not let us watch TV, play video games, talk on the phone, hang out with our friends, or even eat. Was this a little bit of tough love? Maybe. Has it scarred me for all time and makes me wake up in the middle of the night crying? Look, that's between me and my counselor. Respect my privacy. You could pretend that it's a temptation. Think of this task as something that's attractive, something that you're getting away with. If it helps, wear a mask while you're doing it. Oh, wait, you're already wearing a mask. Now, at least the bonus is you can hide your identity. Only look at the current task, not at the other tasks, just the one you're working on. And this hint actually helps if you're one of those who feels overwhelmed. Chop it into smaller chunks. Several people on my Facebook wall said they combat procrastination by making lists. Lists help you break things down into smaller chunks. A few mentioned how rewarding it felt to actually cross items off as they went down the list. And you know something, that is a great reward. And speaking of rewards, promise yourself a reward at the end, not until or unless you complete the project. Whether it's a bowl of ice cream or binging on a season or two of Deep Space Nine, giving yourself a reward at the end can provide solid motivation. And the chance to eat ice cream while watching the best Star Trek series ever? Am I right? Am I right? The thing that stopped me from procrastinating, my grandmother told me that planning to do something isn't the same as actually doing it. Well, that hit me pretty hard. Admittedly, it still took a while for it to take hold. But I've seen that in real life, and chances are you have too. Over the years, I've had many coworkers tell me they were working on a business plan, and they had never started a business or even a small side hustle. My other half was trying to get me to do other projects around the house.
Have you picked up the supplies to paint the house?
I actually like living in a two-toned house. Besides, you're not my mother.
She was kind of right, though. And let's face it, do you really need to get into a tweet battle or return an email, reply to a text right away? Probably not. Once you find the root cause of your procrastination, then you can change the way you look at it, and maybe that will help you reframe the thing that you're trying to avoid. If you enjoyed today's video, or maybe a little inspired, perhaps a little entertained, then you don't need to procrastinate hitting that like button, subscribing, and maybe leaving a comment down below. It'll help others find this video and this channel. You know who I am. It's Tom, and I'll see you next time.